Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of City Skylines with me, CityZilla. If you are new to the channel, welcome. We are going to be fixing this city today. And it's kind of funny, after I had finished our awesome little airport over here, kind of stress test the city as I knew I was going to upload the save, and I realized there was a ton of issues. So I'll give you guys a little backstory for the city. This city was built in probably about like 5 to 6 hours. I didn't entirely rush it. You can kind of see there is a little bit of design theology in here, especially some of these areas, like these old neighborhoods look kind of cool. And then I was trying to keep some form of symmetry, but basically my goal was to take one of the brand new maps and build it large enough to where we could do a big airport and it wouldn't look really weird. And so we do have about 110,000 population. We are currently losing population though. But I built this map, this city, without any mods. And so, and I kind of threw together a lot of the things. And so we have a lot of issues. We're actually going to jump into Traffic Manager and we are going to turn off despawning. And so this is, because we didn't have mods, this is how the game is actually intended with despawning on. And so we're going to go ahead and see what kind of issues, because we're already, even with despawning, having some issues. So let's go ahead and look at our traffic. So yeah, even with despawning, we're already, you can see these arterials are just having some issues. We're at 64%. So we're going to go ahead and let this run and see how low we can go. And so if you've loaded into this save, my intention is to try to help you to fix it, because it's definitely on the precipice of just having another huge death wave, as whenever you get traffic this bad, the hearses can't get to where they're going, the trash drivers can't pick up the trash, and your city just really starts to die. It's really sad. And so if you want to play along, go ahead and do so. The save is on there and it's really fun. It allows you to kind of play around with the airport and kind of look at how I built it. I did change the color LUTs, and so this looks a little different than what it did when I filmed it, but I still really like this airport. I think it turned out really well, and we actually don't have any issues with the actual airport itself, but we do with the city. And so let's go ahead and see, and we will see how bad it gets. We're already down to 60. So, all right. So here we go. 28%. And it's kind of funny. This is why I decided to do this video. And a small disclaimer, almost everything I've learned came from Biffa. And so I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of him. But if you haven't, he has an entire collection of traffic videos that are just amazing. I have learned a few tricks of my own over the years of watching him and kind of playing City Skylines, but I just wanted to put that in there because he's definitely the king of doing traffic videos. And so if he's watching, thank you. I definitely learned a lot. But if you haven't checked out his traffic videos, they're definitely worth it. So let's go ahead and look at some of our issues. We have a ton. The main issue here is our highway. This is really the heartbeat of this city. And the problem is really happening around a lot of these exits. A lot of it has to do with these intersections being a little too close to the interchanges. And then the interchanges just not really being set up for high volumes. And so there's a few really basic things we can do, but it's kind of funny if we look at some of the, so both of these are our downtown areas, but because of the way that I set it up with these one-ways, we're really not having any traffic issues. We are having traffic issues leaving the downtowns though. And so after looking at it, one of the main things that I really identified with this, and we'll go ahead and jump into the in-game tool. So we'll grab the street, go to this little toggle traffic routes view, and we can see the purple is private vehicles. These are all people trying to go home. Like you can see this is an entire residential area. And so all these people are coming from our ore area, coming from our downtown, and they're all just trying to go home and they're just stuck, or they're going to work. And so they're getting stuck on this road and they're getting stuck on this road. And these are really some of our biggest issues. And you can even see some people coming from downtown trying to come into this area, and it's just all getting jammed up. And so I did want to jump into a real life example of something like this in a real city. I'm going to jump into my hometown of Las Vegas. This is Las Vegas. This is the portion of Las Vegas that most people know about, the Strip. It's right here next to this freeway, the 15. But we are going to jump into the southern portion. It's actually a part of the city of Henderson. And this is a real life traffic city planning issue. And so what happened is in the late 90s, a developer decided to purchase this portion of land and build out a large master plan community. And so there is like retirement living in here. There's a golf course. There's a country club. It's really large. It's like 8,000 residents. But then there's also a secondary master plan community right here called Seven Hills. And then now there is a third one called Inspirata. Well, this main road right here, Eastern, is a main retail corridor and arterial, and it leads all the way from this major master plan community all the way down to the highway. And so this orange road right here is also a major arterial. It's not a freeway, but it is a highway. It's about 8 lanes across. I think in some settings it may be 10 lanes. But it's really large. But the problem is people are trying to get over here from up here. And so they're taking this road, hopping on the freeway, getting down here and trying to get over here to work or wherever. And so what happens is during rush hour, this road just gets so clogged. On a normal day with no traffic, you can get from all the way down here and go all the way up here in about like 15 minutes. Well, during traffic, you can't. You start way down here and you get way up here, and all of a sudden it takes like 45 minutes. And so the city over the past 10 to 15, possibly even 20 years, has been trying to alleviate that. And so a couple things the city has done is built 2 freeway interchanges, or 2 freeway on-ramp off-ramps. They built one here and they built one here. And this one's actually brand new within the past like 5 years. This one's about like 10 years old. And then this road has recently been upgraded all the way down to this road, which has also been upgraded over the years, all the way back here to help alleviate the pressure off that main road. And then this road right here as well has also been upgraded. And it's all been in hopes of getting people to take alternate routes rather than this main road that everybody keeps taking. And a lot of the problem is that it's also a retail corridor. So there's a ton of stores, grocery stores, shops, fitness centers, all kinds of stuff, pretty much everything you need. And the hospital's right there on the corner. It's just a really well-traveled area. And so jumping back into our city, we can kind of look at some of the main issues. So this is a major residential area. And when I was designing it out, I really didn't pay too much attention to one-ways or anything in this area. I just kind of built it out. And this happens in cities a lot. And this is why most arterials end up becoming arterials through road upgrade. It's not through planning. It's through the city starts to realize that everybody's taking one route, and then they decide to expand the lanes or change the orientation of the road or whatever they can do to try to alleviate the problem. And so the first thing I want to do is focus on our freeway, since we are having some issues down here. So I think one of the main things we can do is this intersection right here and this intersection right here, we can have pass under. Since we have all these cars right here trying to turn left, what we can do is force them to take a different route. So we're going to come in here. We're going to delete this guy. We're going to delete that guy. It's kind of funny. The stadium's right there. So we're going to have to shift this guy over. But then we are going to use the picker mod. Go like this and then go to unmodded. We're going to go straight. We're going to pass this guy right over it. And then we can actually turn the stadium now. So we'll put the stadium off that other road. But what this is going to do is it's going to force all this traffic to take a different route. Because if they can just take a different road somewhere, it's going to help out this road so much. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. All right, and so this road I just moved back so that they would be forced to go to this intersection. It's really going to help out this area a lot to just alleviate some of the pressure of having all those intersections. Looks like these cars are just confused. They're like, where are we going? We still want to turn there. That's not a turn anymore, guys. Come on, go forward. You can do it. One of the issues with traffic is when it gets this bad, you'll start to see your game starts to bog down. And so it's just something that you got to deal with. We really can't do it with this one because it is an access point to those freeways. But what we can do here is go ahead and add in some more exits. So what we're going to do is jump into highways, and we're going to go ahead and just put another entrance exit right here. And it's going to help to kind of split up that traffic a little more. And there we go. And so none of these intersections are set up yet. And so we're going to go have a portion of the video that is dedicated to that. The first thing that I want to do now, since we are having such a big backup on this freeway, what we can do, and this is something that cities do, is we can upgrade the freeway. Like you can kind of see a lot of people are just trying to change lanes really quickly, and the having only 3 lanes is kind of a limitation for this. And so what we can do is go ahead and upgrade all these to 4 lanes, and then we'll go ahead and create the on-ramp, off-ramps as 5 lanes. All right, and so I have upgraded all the roads, did 4 lanes, for almost all of it, but then for exit lanes, I went ahead and did 5. And then if there was 2 entrance exits kind of close to each other, I went ahead and left that 5th lane there. And so another thing you can do, especially if you're playing with mods, is jump into the options. And before we hit play, I wanted to do this. We're going to go down to Traffic Manager. We're going to jump into gameplay. We're going to uncheck individual driving styles, and we're going to hit Enable Advanced Vehicle AI. And you can turn this up or down depending on whatever you want. I'm going to keep it as low as possible because I'm recording as well, and I don't have like a super top tier CPU. But even with it on low, it's going to really help out. And so even with those changes, we should start to see a little bit more flow with this. So now what we're going to do is actually set up our off ramps now. So we're going to jump into Traffic Manager. We're going to go to the lane connector, and we're going to jump in here. We're going to hit this guy, and we're going to hit Control S. Control S, and then we're going to tell people that they can't change lanes once they're too close. They need to pick way back here. And so then we're going to come up here. We're going to do the same thing. Go like that. Go like that. We're going to do the same thing here. Go like that. Go like that. And it's just going to tell people to choose one lane. And so we're actually going to tell them that they can't change lanes just yet there either, because it shouldn't be stopping traffic right here. They're trying to change lanes too soon, and it's causing issues. And so we're going to go like this. We're going to go like that. And then we're going to do the same thing here. And we're going to do the same thing there. And then we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do the same thing there. And just by doing this, we're going to really help out the traffic a lot. Do the same thing there, same thing there. It's just going to tell people, pick a lane. Don't get stuck behind these people. Like if they need to get off, they need to get off. And you can kind of already see we're having some issues over here. So maybe if it looks like they're going now, but all these people are waiting to get off, but they're waiting in this far lane. But you can already see just by doing that, we're getting some way better flow. People are starting to pick the off-ramp lane a little bit sooner. And so this isn't going to fix our problem, but it's definitely going to help. And you can even see, so we need to set this one too. Go like that, go like that. We're going to tell people that they need to pick their lane sooner. And then we will set up this one as well. Did we set up the other side? Yeah, we did. And so set up these ones, set up this guy, set up that guy. We'll come over here. We'll do the same thing. Set up that guy, set up that guy. And we'll come over here, do the same thing. Bada bing, bada boom. Super easy fixes. I mean, these really, like, you can already tell our freeway is moving much better than it did before. We're still having some pretty big issues over here. I'm not really sure why. They shouldn't be able to hit into that lane first, but I think it's because the traffic is backing up to a certain point. They're really having some issues. And so it looks like that intersection is probably going to be the first one we work on. Though it looks like this one's having issues too. So just by making that one little fix, we have already fixed so many of the issues. Like you can see the backup's already moving over here just much better than it was before. And so now let's start looking at some of our just jammed up intersections. So this one is the farthest one down. So we're going to go ahead and mess with this one first. So what I want to do is go ahead and look at priorities first. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this. We can see this whole road has a ton of cars on it. So I can just go ahead and click the priority signs and then hold shift on that road. And what it's going to do is give all roads going onto that road a yield sign so that anybody on this road has priority. And then now what I want to do is jump into lane arrows and do Control Shift click for the intersection. And what it's going to do is give a dedicated turn lane. This is super important because a lot of times, especially in this base game, people will wait in turn lanes even though they're going straight. And so the traffic doesn't split up. It's one of the easiest things you can do to make your traffic go away. If somebody's trying to turn, they need to be in the turn lane. If they're trying to go straight, they need to be in the straight lane. And so another really big thing here that we can do is actually give the straight a second lane by turning this into an 8-lane road. And this is something that you can only do with mods, but it is something that would be hugely beneficial and probably done in real life for a road this big. And so we're going to jump over to an 8-lane road. We're going to do 8 lanes with trees because we don't really want to lose the nice aesthetics of it all. And it does just make the curb a little bit shorter, but it's going to be super important for this area. So I think we will even go up here. Yeah, I think this would be good. So we'll go ahead and start it right there. And then it should keep your overall priority signs intact. Yep. But it does mess up your turn lane. So we do need to come back into our lane arrows and Control Shift click all these guys. But what that's going to do is just allow one more lane for people to go straight. You can already see it's moving much better. So now everybody who's trying to go straight has 2 lanes. Anybody who's trying to turn, they need to be in the turn lane. And so they don't necessarily have to be all blocked up as quickly. It does look like we can turn this into an 8-lane as well. I'm going to go ahead and do that real quick. All right, and so just by doing that, we have already solved a lot of our problems. You can still see that we are having some tremendous issues coming this way though. And so I think if we go ahead and upgrade this to an 8-lane road as well, we may experience some more relief, kind of similar to what we're having on this road. Because once these side roads start to deplete, they won't stop the traffic as much. Like you can already tell this is moving much more than it ever was before. And so I'm going to go ahead and upgrade this road to an 8-lane road. And then now what we need to do is jump into Traffic Manager and set a priority for this road as well. So we're going to go ahead and hold shift, and it's going to do the priority signs all the way down. And then now we're going to jump into the lane arrows function. I'm going to control shift click on all these intersections. Give that dedicated lane. If they're trying to turn right, be in the right turn lane. If they're trying to go straight, be in the straight lane. Don't waste time sitting behind people you don't need to be behind. All right, and so this intersection is still pretty jammed, but you can tell the traffic is already seriously depleted back here, but the traffic is still backing up over here. We're definitely already doing huge things for our industrial area. This is really moving now. Let's go ahead and look at our traffic. What are we at? So we're at 46% already just by doing those small changes. Our freeway's moving. These people are able to get off. Especially with the dedicated turn lanes. Anybody who's trying to turn right, they now can just turn right. They don't have to wait for this traffic. And now what we can do is set up some timed traffic lights for these intersections. So I think what we're going to need to do, this big guy, we definitely need to. So we're going to go to timed traffic lights, and we're going to control shift click. And what that does is it sets up a standard timed traffic light, but I do want to jump into edit and turn this to 12. And I'm going to go ahead and do it for all of them, because all ways are kind of having some issues right now. And what it's going to do is just allow the light to remain open a little bit longer. Because another really good thing about this is it stops the traffic from actually crossing the pedestrian traffic. Because that's a big part of this too. Like this is a walk sign for the pedestrian traffic. So anybody turning right still has to deal with it, but they have to stop whenever the straight is going. So like right now, these people can't cross. Especially if you don't have an extensive pedestrian bridge network. This is something that can really kind of mess up your city. It does look like we have 2 turn lanes here. I think we want to jump into the lane arrows and create 2 straights. Yeah, that's what we want. And I didn't upgrade this to an 8-lane, but I'm starting to wonder if I should. I only did this middle section. It does look like everybody's just turning though. So yeah, these people, they're able to go straight now, which is great. And they're all going because we haven't really messed with junction restrictions as of yet. What we want is as many of these people to be able to get through as possible. And so we got a pretty nice little gap there. We got some nice movement. It's no longer backing up over here, which is fantastic. These people are still waiting to get onto the freeway, but we haven't started messing with that side yet. And so what I'm hoping is that we will, once this goes down, this will be able to actually handle this junction pretty well. So now let's go ahead and move over to the next area. All right, so this intersection right here. So again, we don't have any priorities set up for this road. All these people are waiting to come and turn off here. Well, they're blocking this traffic right here as well. So we're going to go ahead and hold shift. And then what we're going to do is go back to our main road and hold shift on that, because we want this to still be the priority road, but we want all these smaller roads to yield to this bigger road back here. And then so now what we're going to do is jump back into the lane arrows, control shift click on all these intersections. If they're trying to turn, they need to be in a turn lane. We don't want anybody waiting behind a turn lane going straight. And even in real life, like having those right and straights is kind of frustrating, because you're trying to turn right and then you got that person in front of you and you're just like, what are you doing? Turn right. But look at that, we're already just by doing that, it's forcing people to take their routes. You know, it just small fixes like that. And so while we're over here, let's go ahead and finish this back road, and this is actually going to be a loop around the entire city. So I'm going to hold shift, and this is a main arterial, but it's not heavily utilized. It's just because it goes around the outside. A lot of people still use it to travel, but it's definitely not as big as the other ones. And so now I'm just going to do the lane arrows all the way down. And it's so funny, the second you put down those lane arrows, it really helps out so much, because anybody who's trying to turn, which is a lot of people, they just get stuck behind that other traffic when it's unnecessary. And so now we need to move to the other side, because this whole backup is clogged. Everybody's trying to get off over here. And so now the first thing we're going to do is set a priority. So let's come in here. We're going to go ahead and give this road priority since it goes to the freeway. And then we're going to jump into lane arrows, go like this, go like that. And we're going to go like that as well for that guy down there. We're going to go like that. And then we will go ahead and clean these ones up while we're at it. And then that right there, you can already tell it's moving a little bit. It's not a lot. And so what we need to do is mess with the junction, the lane arrows right there. And this is already moving a lot better. Having those turn lanes is so helpful. All those people waiting behind people who are trying to go straight, but they're in the right turn lane. It just for some reason, everybody uses the same lane. And so now that the timed traffic light is working pretty well over here, I think if we do the same thing right here, it might end up unclogging this area. But let's see. So everybody's waiting to turn left and they're all waiting to come up here. But it looks like they're waiting to get onto the freeway going this direction. And so let's go ahead and look at the actual road, because I think this is a different problem than what we were dealing with before. And so let's grab this road. Yeah, so all those brown is our trucks, and that's because we have this farming area right here. Whenever I was building this out, I was definitely going for more aesthetic than I was efficiency. And it's just because it's kind of farther away from the freeway. You normally want your industrial areas to not be in the city like this, and it's really what's causing a lot of this traffic. A lot of these trucks are trying to just turn and get on the freeway and leave the city. And so what we can do is, knowing that it's, definitely a different issue than people trying to get in here. And this is clogging way up over here. So let's jump into our lane arrows and let's set up this guy as well. Let's go down here, go down here. Let's set up our industry area. And then I think we already set up priority. Yeah, we did. And so let's go ahead and look at this guy. It's already moving so much better just from the lane arrows. It's just now these people are all trying to go at the same time. So we're going to jump into time traffic lights, Control Shift click, and then we're going to stop it, go into edit, and then jump these all up to 12. And these time traffic lights are so good. I mean, the main benefit to them, other than the fact that it does help the traffic to go, is it stops the pedestrians. It's such a big thing in this game. The pedestrians just don't even care. They just walk across the street even if there's a ton of traffic. And I hope that's something that in the second one they kind of address, because it is definitely an issue. And so all these people are waiting to turn left onto the freeway. Okay, so whenever this is happening, what you can do, and it's funny, we haven't ran into this issue yet, run into Junction Restrictions and actually tell them to just continue. You have priority, man. You do not need to stop. Just keep going. Normally, whenever there's yield signs, a lot of the cars won't stop, but they still tend to stop a lot. If there's a lot of pedestrians, then obviously they should slow down, but they shouldn't be stopping that far back because they're just causing these people to not be able to turn. And so now we're getting to a point where this is not as clogged back here. And so once these kind of dissipate a little bit, then these people will be allowed to turn much more easily, because we could also put in a light in here and time both of them together. I tend not to like lights in this game as much, though in real life that's what would happen, is those would be lights. But you can already tell, I mean, we're getting some change. Let's go ahead and look at our traffic. So we're at 56%. We still have some pretty big issues. I think we're still getting a pretty good split back here. I wonder if we upgrade this to an 8-lane road, if we will get a nice transition out of this like we did the opposite side. So let's go like this, and then we're actually going to bring this all the way across again. And we'll go like that. We'll begin it right there. I think that's good. And then let's jump back into our lane arrows. Set this guy up. And that should just allow that extra lane for people to go straight into pick lane so that it doesn't back up as much. We did get a little bit of an issue over here, though. I don't think that needs to be an 8-lane road. That's pretty extreme. This could be a 4-lane road, though, or even an asymmetric. Let's see if we have a 2-in-1. I think we do. Yeah, 2-in-1. There you go. So we'll go ahead and upgrade that. There you go. And what that's going to do is just allow people who are going right or left to pick their lane. It's going to help them to not get bogged down as much. I think these people are getting stuck too. So we'll go like that. And what are you doing? You're going the right way. Don't turn around. We'll go like that. We'll put the asymmetrics on either side. And this is something that you obviously see in real cities, but it just helps the traffic to not get stuck. Because then they just have a turn lane. Something you can do for a lot of the smaller roads. But already we're moving. We're definitely getting there. We still have some pretty big issues, but as long as these cars aren't getting stuck. Looks like these cars are still stopping. So let's go ahead and jump back into junction restrictions. Tell these people to not stop. Don't stop. And what sucks is when there's traffic, they do end up blocking the intersection, which you don't necessarily want. But we also don't want them to just stop at a random like this wouldn't even be, it'd be a stop sign. Like you wouldn't stop there. It would just be more of like a courtesy to not block, though in a lot of places it actually is law too, but come on, what are you doing? Go. So we need to do it here as well. No, it looks like it's there. Is it just, it's just pedestrians. All right, and so we have definitely gotten better. We still have a lot of the same issues we had, though, and we're backing back up over here again now. And so I think we're going to need to adjust our time traffic lights a little bit more. Let's go ahead and increase them to a higher number now, because let's see how many of these are letting go. I mean, it's not bad, but I think what we're going to do is turn this into 2 left-hand turns, because having those 2 turn lanes is really going to help out with all these people turning left. What is that guy doing? Where's he going? That ambulance is crazy. So what I'm hoping is that these cars start piling up behind the second left turn. I'm going to go ahead and tell these people to continue as well. It just helps the traffic light. They're not going to block the intersection, but it just tells them to continue. They don't have to stop for any reason. And then another thing we can do is jump into node controller and just increase this offset a little bit, just by enough. Yeah, I think that's good, because it just makes the turn a little bit smoother. It makes it a little easier for some of these people. Yeah, there we go. So we're moving. We still got some pretty big issues, though. I was really hoping more people were going to use that second left turn lane, but... So we're going to jump back into time traffic lights, and we're going to increase this again. So we're going to go up to 15. Then we will hit start. And now what I'm hoping is that we will start to see more cars let through. I mean, this is pretty good. It looks like these people are not picking their lanes soon enough, which I kind of wish they were. All these people are jamming them behind that one lane and then switching back over here. So let's see how many cars this lets through. This is a huge line of cars. Okay. So we're still getting back up over here, and it looks like we are just having some major issues. So what we could do is actually do a flyover, and it's something that is actually pretty common within cities, but it would be hard for us to do. So we have all these cars that are waiting to turn left right here. Maybe if we just tell these guys to continue. No, the problem is they're stuck back here too. Let's see though. That could work. Just continue on, continue on. Okay, so it does look like this one way is definitely doing better than what it was. By telling those cars to just continue on now, they're not backing up as much, which is really great. We're still getting an issue over here though. I wonder, so this has 2 left turns. We don't really need that. Yeah, so that should be better now instead of all these people cutting across. We really only need the 1 turn lane. But let's see. So, let's see how many cars this lets through. So it let quite a few through. You can still see we're getting a little bit of a blockage back there though. But now we're not getting the blockage in this direction, which is just great. We're still getting a little bit of stop and go, but it's moving. Because what we could do is actually turn this into a roundabout. Just would rather not do that. So we're going to go ahead and tell these people to continue on. We don't want any stopping on these roads whatsoever. They need to just continue. Because if they can all make the light, then we will make it. Yeah, like look at these. They're stopping. Do not stop. All right, so let's see if that has helped out at all. It should have, because now at least the line of traffic should continue, hopefully. That's what I'm hoping for. So let's see if they're all going there. They shouldn't be stopping at all. Come on, guys. You can do it. You can do it. Because we may need to just increase this again. Because what happens is you get those little gaps and the light closes. I mean, that got quite a bit. It didn't get it all, though. We definitely need more than that. But let's see if we can... I mean, it's definitely not as far back as it was. I guess that may be helping. So let's see if this whole line of cars gets through. Because we can tell these people to continue as well. So let's see if the junctions are actually stopping them. Yeah, I mean, these people stopped. So we're going to go ahead and tell them to continue as well. We really need them to make it through the light. And for them to be stopping at those intersections is a major problem. See, now they should be backing up even more. You can already tell this whole line is just getting better. So that wasn't bad. What I want to do is upgrade some of these roads to asymmetrics because they're all waiting. And so we're going to jump back into that 2-in-1. And we're going to upgrade these guys. Yeah, there we go. And that should just allow people who are going take the right turn to just take the right and not back up. Because this is one of the things that's really stopping these is all those people cutting in front. Just look at that. We're getting a ton of cars going through now. All right, so I think what we're going to do for this one is the same thing that we did for the other side, and we're just going to increase the timing. So we're going to jump this up to 15. Again, that just allows the light to remain open longer, which is really what we need. We need all these cars to go through. We need them all to make it. All right, so green light, come on. At least if we can get back here, this would be golden. I mean, we got a lot. We didn't get them all, but our backup's getting better. All right, so if we can get this whole pile of cars, then I think this light will be a success. They got stopped right there. That was most of them, though, because now, I mean, we got this whole corridor. Look at that. It's no longer backed up over here. And then this road's not bad. This road's still pretty bad. Yeah, I mean, doing the junction restrictions with the lane arrows and the asymmetrics has really helped this side out a ton. So now, look at that. We have no backup. We are still getting a little bit of a backup here. I ended up changing. We had 2 left turns here. I turned them into 2 straights because we really want people to be using both lanes. And we want to make sure that these are 2 straights as well. Pretty sure they are. Yeah, they are. Because then if we can get this whole line of cars too, that'll just be a huge success. I mean, we got a lot of it. We definitely got enough to where I can say that that's a success. All right, and so now let's come back over here. We kind of let this one run for a little bit. And let's see if we still have some we still have some pretty big issues. That's so funny. They're all just using this one lane. Like, pick a different lane. So yeah, I mean, this whole backup's still going on over here. I mean, these people are just causing issues. So I'm going to go ahead and tell them that they can't change lanes right there. They need to pick their lane prior to that. Yeah, pick your lane back here. If you can't change lanes here. Because that's really causing a ton of issues here. All these people, like, they can choose a different lane. So now, we have a little bit of a backup over here. Let's see if it gets all of them. Even if it gets back here, that would just be great. Oh yeah, nice. Look at that. It got most of them. And so I'm going to turn this one into an asymmetric. Turn that one into an asymmetric. And there we go. That should really help out a lot, having those 2 lanes. Come on, Hearse. What are you doing? This guy's like blocking traffic. What's sad is that happens in real life too. All right, well, we got all the traffic on this side. Let's go ahead and tell these people to continue. All right, so I think what we're going to do is shift this. I really didn't think we could, but we're going to delete this guy, and then we're going to grab this guy and then have him go out and connect up to that road. Because we're just having some major issues, and I don't know if they're repairable. So these people can go around if they really need to, or choose a different path. And then what we're going to do is actually delete these guys and make it wider so that the entrances and exits are a little further away, because having them so close a lot of times is what can cause issues for you. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I think it's going to fix some of the problems. I don't know if it's going to fix all of them, but I guess we shall see. It could. Ooh, what happened here? That's a little weird. I wonder if I have them. Oh, I do. That's so weird. I wonder if we're having issues over here now too. We are. All right, and so now what we're going to do is jump into a 2-lane road, and we're actually going to upgrade all of these to 2-lane. And the reason for this is it just allows people to pick a lane when they first get off. I wonder if we can have, it does look like we have an issue down here too. Yeah, there we go. And so now we have 2 exit lanes for all directions, and we can jump in here and do our little lane restrictions, and then go to priority signs and set these guys up. And what I'm hoping is that now that that is a little further away, we will actually, it looks like we have an issue over here. These people are going the wrong direction. Did we mess up anything else? Nope, I think we're good. We do need to go back onto our freeway though and go to the lane connectors. Connect these guys. Go like that. Go like that, and go like that. And there we go. It just allows these people to enter and exit at a little better of an angle. And so now I'm hoping that these are a little bit farther. These people who are queuing up down here will choose a different direction. And it looks like they might be. Looks like we've got 2 turn lanes on this one though. We want 2 straights. And then this one's good. These people are doing good. Yeah, that's great. They're actually coming down here to a lesser utilized intersection, which is fantastic. So having them farther away does look like it's helping by removing that road, though I think that was probably our biggest fix, because now less people are coming from this direction, and so they can get on the freeway much easier. The on and off ramps aren't impeded as much. Yeah, because look at that. Now there's like no cars coming from that direction. They can just go. And what we can do is actually jump into node controller. Just increase these offsets a little bit. Not a lot, but just enough. So it looks like this intersection's doing good now. We have solved all of our issues. We still have some problems over here, though. It looks like this road is now great. Even this intersection's doing good. We don't have a backup over here. And then this direction is solved. It's just this whole issue right here. So I wonder if we do lane restrictions where we actually create an exit lane. I think that will allow these guys to continue. So if we go like that, we're going to do it ourselves. So we're going to go, because we want these people to be able to turn left. We don't really need to mess with the other sides just yet, but we are going to come back in here and choose this other node and tell them, don't change lanes. They need to pick their lane. So then ideally these people should be able to just exit now. They have a full-blown exit lane. And you see these in real life too, but they should be able to change lanes right there. Let's go ahead. I'm pretty sure in Traffic Manager you can tell them to be able to. So policies, vehicles may do enter block junctions, ignore lane arrows. Vehicles going straight on may change lanes at junctions. I think that is great. It's kind of illegal in a lot of places, but it allows us to allow them to change lanes within the node, especially since there's not a lot of extra nodes. So they were trying to change lanes here rather than in the node in the junction, which is going to kind of help us out. And so now it's just all these people turning left. So we don't want them changing lanes here either, or there. We want them to choose their lane back here. And so this whole intersection's doing way better now. Let's go ahead and look at our traffic now. Man, 80%. Look at that. Just from those couple of interchanges. It's really crazy. It does look like we're having a little bit of a backup over here. Let's go ahead and look at this guy. So I think if we do the 2 lanes again, that might help. Let's see if we can squeeze in a second lane right here. And then we are going to tell people to not change lanes right here. Choose your lane as you go. Yeah, there you go. Look at that. Should just help. Like if people need to turn right, they can turn right. And then we will give lane arrows over here. All right, so it looks like our traffic here is actually doing much better now. All I did was set up the designated turning lanes right here, and then I kind of let it run for a little bit. I did end up building a bridge right here too, and I felt like this was really going to be something that was going to help alleviate some of the pressure over here, and it really has. A lot of the trucks are now getting off right here and crossing over. And it's kind of funny, I had recorded this whole segment and then I had messed up the recording, but despawning still off. I didn't do any major changes other than these 2 bridges, and then I'm going to go over some of the other small changes I made to the city. We do have great traffic flow right now, 84%. And as you can see, a lot of people are using this bridge now. And this is something that you definitely see in cities as well. It's kind of frustrating that I lost the recording, because when I was working on this, I realized that because this was the only way across, we really needed to have some other access. And so since these are 2 downtown areas, I felt like having this bridge across was just something that you would definitely see, because it's really going to help a lot of the workers. Like maybe somebody works over here and lives over here. Now they can just cross this bridge, especially since it's the main arterial. This is that road that we've been working on this whole time. And then by adding this across, it really helped to get those industrial trucks to start taking this route rather than getting off over here. And so now a lot of our problems have been fixed. And so a couple other fixes I did make over on our 2 really bad intersections. I changed the orientation of some of the roads. So if we jump into the road toolbar, I went ahead and created one-ways out of these ones. And it was just so that we didn't have any traffic coming out so close to this intersection. And this is something that you see in real cities as well. You'll see major downtown areas where most of the one-ways lead in the opposite direction. And it's just so that traffic coming in takes certain roads. And it's kind of funny, driving some of those downtowns is actually really hard because there'll be so many one-ways going in one direction when Normally your one ways will go back and forth, but in some downtowns you'll have like 2 or 3 that go one way and then one that goes the opposite direction, and so it kind of funnels you all onto one road. And so just by changing these away, what we did is we created a little more room for the traffic to back up here so that the light can allow everybody to go through. And so now we have effectively solved a lot of our problems. And so I did something similar over here. Instead of having this one-way end into this street and be so close to the intersection, I decided to turn it up. Since this street is not super busy, I felt like it would just be smart to turn that and then do a walking path. And then for this road, I went ahead and disconnected it because I just don't want cars to be coming this way. They can come and take this road, especially since this road wasn't really heavily utilized. By disconnecting that, you're forcing the traffic to take a different route. And so that's something that you can really utilize in your city. And so I think some of the key takeaways today is look at your, intersections. If you have any major intersections that are causing issues, you can go over a lot of the fixes that I did today. Check with your junction restrictions. If you're playing in unmodded, delete intersections. So if you have like these roads here, turn them into one ways that go the opposite direction. Make your closest intersection farther away, especially on the direction that's having the most issues. You want as much traffic as possible to be able to make it through the intersection. You can see we're still getting a little bit of a backup here, but because that light's staying green for so long, we don't have it back up all the way anymore. And we still do have light traffic in certain areas, but it's to be expected. This is another thing that you can do in areas. Just widen your exits. We still do have a little bit of a backup again in some areas, but it's mostly flowing, and that's really what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get most of the traffic through. And so even in playing with mods or without mods, you definitely have some key takeaways. I hope that if anybody is having traffic issues that I've maybe helped in some way. If you guys have enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And thank you so much for watching. I will catch you on the next episode.